Charlie and
Hi,
Chris,
Rory.
how are you doing today?
Rory,
Good, thanks.
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Such a pleasure to talk to you both. So, icebreaker question. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh,
You know what? Mine is Midnight Train to Georgia by
Hmm.
Gladys Knight and the Pips. For whatever reason, Gladys and I have a very similar vocal style.
yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Crush that song.
Yeah. I usually go Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson.
There you go.
Wow. That's
Go for
some
I don't have
register.
the I don't have the chops to like really impress people, so I have to go for humor. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, if you pick the right song, the audience will do most of the work for you.
That's
So,
true. You're right about. Hey, that's smart. That's good thinking right there.
one of the things I absolutely loved about the Mario movie is that it actually kind of, some of the plot stuff in it reminded me of The Princess Bride and also Aladdin, because we've got the bad guy who's essentially trying to force the princess into marriage, and it takes an outsider to come along and save the day. I love the little parallels to some proper classics. When you were coming up with, obviously we have the history of Super Mario, but when you're coming up with the performances of these characters, or even talking about the plot of this, was there any kind of parallels or touchstones to other kind of shows or movies or characters out there that you're like, this is kind of the vibe we're going for?
Wow, that's a great question. First of all, it's really astute to point those out. The Princess Bride. What a great movie that was. You know, they pretty much had most of the plot figured out by the time I came on. They had like a rough idea of the first the first two acts, and they were still figuring out what to do at the end of the movie.
They tend to try to avoid thinking too much about any other character or performance because that could really get stuck in your head, and it
Right.
can be hard to get out of doing an imitation. And you never want to be doing an impression or an imitation of any one sort of idea or
Right.
person.
And you also want to avoid, for me, you want to avoid the trap of we can't do this because it's been done before. Like you want to make something fresh, you want to make something new, but what is it? There are like 7 stories originally, so it's like kind of everything's been done. As long as you're doing it, adding something to make it a little bit fresh, which I think this movie is very unique and very fresh. But yeah, you want to avoid that trap as well. God, it's hard for me to pick anything right off the top of my head that like.
No, that's understandable. I did. It's all of history in cinema, so it's tough to pick out just one. And Charlie, as I'm calling from Ireland, I can't not ask, because we know you're coming soon enough, I think. Would you have any recommendations? Because I know you've been before. Would you have any recommendations to give to Chris for places, must-go places to visit when you're over here?
He's already told me a couple, but I want to hear it.
Well,
Oh.
I think the most important thing is, go to Dublin, go down to Cork. I think it's good to go up to Northern Ireland. Chris is a golfer, as am I, so I say go hit that Royal Port Rush. Pretty amazing course, pretty beautiful part of the country. I think you gotta try to get on Royal County Down if you can. I've actually not been there, but I'm dying to play it. And honestly, just driving around the countryside and just seeing the green hills and stone walls, that's a big part of the charm. Or let someone drive you, because they're driving on the wrong side of the road there, let me tell you. But yeah, and have a Guinness while you're there.
Well, that's the other side of getting someone else to drive you, is that you can then have the Guinness. So
That's right. Exactly.
perfect, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time today.
Let's end this.